Hey everybody, how you doing? It's me again, and coming at you with the third and final installment in the series that I began, just taking a walk through the Bronx and looking at the reality of the situation there. Um, Once again, a disclaimer. Prior to going up to the Bronx, I really was not aware of the full extent of the damage that happened up there, but it just goes to show, it's a testament to the character of the community who came along, and in only 2 days, you would never know that what happened up there did happen. So, I just wanted to do my part to bring knowledge and understanding to the situation because there were a lot of people who were going out of their way deliberately to try to incite some kind of racial tension between black people and Latinos. And as I've been saying for a very long time to a lot of people who I know personally, this area has always been multi ethnic. Definitely since I want to say the early 70s. Before that, it was pretty much a very Jewish area. But as long as I've been living there, let's see, my mom probably moved there like maybe in 1973, and I would visit up from Jamaica, and I came back in 1976. Um, it's always been multi ethnic. And so, this idea that, there were tensions, clashes between Latinos, attacking blacks and vice versa, is not true. And I just had to do what I could do to dispel that. Because at the end of the day, we have to remain focused on what this was all about. Thanks to agitators from the outside and just knuckleheads who can't see the bigger picture. And what can I tell you? Things have gotten derailed to a certain point. We can't forget the fact that what this protest is about ending this system of white supremacy in this country and the mistreatment of all people of color. And I want to also say this and make it very clear. In this country, black people are not the only ones being victimized. We're all being victimized. All people of color are being victimized. Latino people are also being victimized, but I guess it just makes better, headlines in the news when you focus on black folk, because this country has been historically polarized between black and white. But for people in the Latino community who would still want to say this has nothing to do with us, well, yes, it most certainly does have something to do with you. Poor people who may be white, it has something to do with you. Native Americans, let's not forget about them, okay? Because they've been kind of like shoved under the carpet, and nobody wants to talk about what Native folk in this country are still going through. So this is something that we all have to do in this time. We all have to come together to end this thing because we're not just it's not just one part of us that's being attacked. All of us are being attacked. Okay? Even a lot of you people out there who may consider yourselves white, you're being attacked too. If you are not in a certain income bracket, you're shit ass out of luck. So let's get back on track and focus on what all these protests were really all about. And that is ending a certain system of injustice and class warfare, because at the end of the day, that's what white supremacy and racism is. It's class warfare. So let's get back to work, let's join our hands, and let's come out of this period of time a better people. So let's make America great again. Well, I don't know when America was ever great like that. How about this? Let's make America great. That's something that we can all agree on. Okay? See you in the video.
Oh, I thought blacks and Latins wasn't friends, right? So West African and the Dominican, they looking pretty friendly to me. But there's a race war out here. There's race war happening out here, right? Okay. Okay, there goes Blink Fitness over there. Looks like the glass might have been smashed. This place over here is all boarded up. I don't know if it was looted or if they just put up the board, you know, just as a protective measure. But you can see none of the businesses beside it have been affected. Here's another pharmacy, okay? This is a pharmacy over here. This place was not looted. Oh, pardon me. Yes, they were. Okay, so this place, yes, it was looted. They're doing their cleanup here. Okay, here I am. I'm right in front of the Lowe's Paradise Theater. Well, it used to be a theater back in the day. This is where I took my first date when I was back in junior high school, but it's a church now. There was fine cricket across the street. I guess that's one of the places that they showed you on the news. It does look like they were broken into. But the furniture store next door, they seem like they were just fine. They're open for business. People are going in and out. They still have their merchandise in there. Okay, everybody, it's me again, Truth Teacher. I just finished having my COVID test. Yo, those people fucking tickle my brain, man. They stuck that shit all the way up my nose. But I came out. I'm in the park. I forgot what's the name of this park again?
St. James.
I'm in St. James Park. This is right off of Fordham Road. It's behind what used to be, back in the day, used to be Alexander's when I was growing up. But I'm talking to two young men here, and I'm asking them what the situation is because, you know, like I'm sure a lot of y'all saw that video talking about that it was a majority of black people that came up here to Fordham Road and they were doing the looting. They were targeting Latino and Asian businesses. So I asked these two young men, one is African American, and you're Latino, Dominicano?
Yeah, I'm Spanish too.
Okay.
Honduras.
Okay, so actually they're both Latino. One is from Honduras and the other one is Dominican. And I was asking them what the situation was with this whole beef, this so-called race riot between blacks and Latinos happening up here in the Bronx. So I'm gonna turn the video over. I'll let the young man tell you in his own words what was really the deal. Okay, so
like pretty much it wasn't really nothing. Like it was just like a situation about like how people gathered up, you know, they gathered up and they tried to, you know, loot for them. People from different areas gathered up over here and trying to loot for them. But now they trying to make it into a big deal how it's only Dykeman that got looted, that tried to get looted, but it never happened because people was protecting it. And that beef started because like they felt like, oh, people from Dykeman came over here, looted, tried to loot for them and shit. And people from over here, they were doing the same thing too. Nobody really cared. But then Dykeman tried to feel some type of way when people from over here for them try to try to
take over.
Yeah, try to go to Dykeman and try to loot Dykeman.
Yeah.
But Dykeman, you know, they fucking held it down and shit. I went to Third Ave. Third Ave looked like it got looted. People from Third Ave, you feel me? They got their own situation too going on. Ain't nobody really talking about that. You feel me? But it's like everybody just too into the beef and like what's going on. Like it's just social media, bro.
It's
Yeah.
like a lot of distraction.
Yeah, it's like a lot. Yeah, exactly. It's like a
So
lot of distraction.
from what you were telling me, there were actually people from Dykeman that came over here and looted in Fordham.
Yeah, I mean like.
I mean, basically, it became a whole Bronx versus Dykeman thing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's
So
more of like how many more people can loot one place, you
Mhm.
know, and then from there it just started like a whole beef stuff, you know, and it became Bronx versus Dykeman.
So it was a Bronx versus Dykeman rather than a black versus Latino kind of thing.
I mean,
It's like, it's just, I guess it's just like the hood, you feel me? Like how they felt, like how they felt like how niggas is trying to like they know niggas is trying to like come together, but niggas is still doing grimy shit. You feel me? Like they be doing, you know, all this looting and trying to like loot and shit and trying to disrespect the hood. But you know, at the end of the day, it's just like it's pointless. So I see it as just like it's just pointless because like now I seen leaked footage of like the NYPD doing some crazy shit too. Like they trying to like, you know, break into to gates and shit. They saw the gates with like with that little saw machine.
Yeah.
They be sawing the gates and trying to like cause havoc themselves too. Like everything is just messed.
It was just complete chaos.
Messed up. Everything completely.
Because, you know, I was down where I used to live. I used to live on 172nd and the Concourse. And I was talking to a guy down there on 170th Street, and he was telling me he was up here when it was all going down, and he said exactly what you're saying. He said he saw that with his own two eyes, that he saw cops was like breaking open stores to let people get in there and loot. So this is...
Nah, they trying to frame us. Like they trying to make it look like it was us. That's what they trying to do. They trying to take advantage of the riot because I feel like there's a bigger plan after that. Like I feel like they got another plan, you feel me?
Yeah.
Because I feel like they know like Donald Trump is gonna stay for another 4 years, and people they want the riot to keep going. They like that attention from other countries too. You feel me? How they want to look into us and trying to say how like we fucking up. But it's not like how we fucking up. It's just about like how fucked up the principle is about simple policy.
Yeah.
And that is policing. You feel me? Policing is just supposed to be a simple task. They're supposed to just, you know, calmly arrest a person and turn them in or whatever. It doesn't have to turn out to be a shooting. Like there's been plenty of videos that there's been shootings of black
Absolutely.
men, and they were unarmed and shit.
So for the record, once and for all again, these rumors that are going out that there's a race riot, race war between blacks and Latinos, true or not true?
I feel like it's not true because I feel like it's not true because nothing is really active right now. Nothing is acting.
Yeah.
Like everything is quiet. I don't hear nobody talking about yo, let's go to Dykeman or yo, let's go to Fordham.
How much you gonna sell this one for?
Like,
Okay.
I'm not hearing none of that. Like everything got quiet. The boys is around the street. Nobody want to mess around with the boys no more. Nobody is looting.
Because eso se va volando, nigga. I'm running. I'm like, I ain't paying nothing. That's all.
So thank you for taking your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, my friend, thank you for talking to me, man.
Julian.
Thank you for talking to me, man. I appreciate it. All right. Okay, so people, there you go. Talking to couple of young folks here. And they're telling that this was not a racial situation whatsoever. Basically, you had knuckleheads who were taking advantage of the situation to come over here to Fordham Road and start looting. Some people over here from Fordham, they felt some kind of way about it, so they went over there to Dykeman to retaliate, and the people over there in Dykeman, they weren't having it. So, that's what really happened. There's, I guess, some kind of little beef between, some kind of little rivalry between Dykeman and the Bronx. I mean, is only one little bridge that separates the two, but you know how it is in these neighborhoods. There's always rivalries between different neighborhoods, and basically that's what all of that was down to. This was not some kind of racial war between blacks and Latinos happening over here. All right, people, I'm here on the Grand Concourse right across the street from Poe Park, and I'm standing on the site of the building where I got jumped by a group of Puerto Ricans for being Dominican back in the 1980s. This is where it all went down. Okay, people, so I'm heading back to Fordham Road. I'm going to show you everything over there, and I'm going to try to see if I can find some other people to address this whole issue of this race war business. So I'm walking down the concourse now back towards Fordham Road. Que lo que? Que lo que? I'm looking for tigres. But I ain't felt up no little kids though, alright? Don't start no shit.
Can we have pasta? Yes.
Voy a hacer uno. El normal es que me entra mi cheque normal.
Okay, everybody, so I'm on Fordham Road. I'm going down the hill towards Fordham University. And yeah, it looks like there are some stores that were looted, but this shit that they're showing you on the news that they're gonna make you think like, this was fucking World War III and like this whole fucking place is in ruins. This is all bullshit. So I'm showing you the truth. I'm showing you where there were problems. But I mean, for the most part, look, I mean, this is still a very vibrant and bustling community. It's not what they're showing you on the news. Here we are, we're on the corner of Webster Avenue and Fordham Road. I'm gonna pan this way, you can see going up, goddamn, even the fucking pandemic, traffic is still horrible on Fordham at this time. You would have thought that everybody's at home, like what the fuck are all these people doing out on the street, man? But this is what traffic is always like here, man. That's why it's best to just take public transportation, man, because once you get to 3 o'clock, well, shit, not even. Once you get to 1 o'clock, traffic in the Bronx is horrible. Traffic in New York City in general is horrible. But I'm just showing you Everything here, Macy's backstage. It looks like these places they put up the cart, the plywood, just to protect the place. These places were not looted. Let me take a look further down. I'm also trying to look for people who look like they'd be willing to discuss this whole issue on camera. So I see some people over here, they're giving out free hugs. So let me see if these people are going to be willing to talk. Okay, everybody, so I'm here on the corner of Webster Avenue and Fordham Road, and I have a very nice young lady here. This is a church group. What is the name of your organization?
It's called Words of Life Christian Center.
Okay, so you're a Christian.
Yes, I'm a Christian.
Okay, so these people are Christians.
Hello.
They've been gracious enough to have a conversation with me. Now, I just showed them that video that Antonio Batista made that went viral. Now, when I showed you that video, what did you think?
I thought for the first instance, I thought that this man is very angry and rather irrational in his way of thinking and expressing himself. It actually started to agitate me for the few minutes I saw.
Yeah, and you didn't even want to see the whole video.
No, I wanted to, like, if it would have been my phone, I would have stopped it.
Yeah. And can I ask you, are you Dominican or Puerto Rican?
Yes, I'm Dominican. Actually, I was born here, raised in the Dominican Republic, and then I came back here to study, go to college.
Okay, so this guy, he has this narrative that he says that the real Dominicans are only the ones who are predominantly Spanish ancestry, and that the black Dominicans or the darker Dominicans that you see in the island, they're mostly Haitians. What do you say?
Since I grew up over there and I took a lot of history class, I can tell that what he said is completely ignorant because if you go over there and you study your history, you know that the first people on the island were actually the Taínos, which were the natives. So if he were to say that the true Dominican is the one that's descended from Spain, he's vastly incorrect because if that was his claim, let's say he would go by who was there first, then we would have to go by the Taínos.
Yeah.
So everyone who has a cinnamon-colored skin or has long, sleek, straight hair, then that person would be truly Dominican. So for him to say that is rather ignorant.
So when he says that people of African descent or people who are primarily of African descent in the Dominican Republic aren't real Dominicans, what do you say to that?
That's also not true. Like, it's completely ignorant again. Because I always say, no disrespect to my country, I say that Dominicans were like mutts because we have a little bit from the Africans that came, right? From that Atlantic trade. We have a little bit from the Spanish colonizers, and we have a little bit of our Taino natives that were there. So if you see our features, if you look at this group of people that are here, we're mostly Dominican. But my friend over here who's light-skinned, she has straight long hair. She's as much Dominican as I am. She was born over there. Me, I might be light-skinned, but if you see some of my features, they're rather African, right? You can be considered a Dominican as well. So what truly makes a Dominican is like, we're a little bit of everything, all put together. That's why our culture is very, very varied. It's very rich because we bring all those elements together.
Well, I'm from the Caribbean myself. I'm Jamaican.
Yes, Caribbean people unite!
I'm Jamaican, but there's a large part of my family that is Latino. They're actually Chilean.
Okay.
Chilenos. But, I grew up in the Bronx. And, I'm sharing with people the reality of what it is here. Because there's a lot of people on social media, for whatever reason, they want to incite this hatred because they have that hatred in their heart. And they want other people to join them on that bandwagon.
And it's like Dr. King said. He says, hate begets hate.
Yes.
Right? So whatever hate you have in your heart is what you tend to give. Right?
Exactly.
And so that cycle continues. You put it out there, so then it comes right back to you. So what we believe as Christians is like to share, things that are anti-hate, to share the light of God, to share the love of God, to bring peace.
Yeah.
Something that's anti-hate, because you put it out there, that's what you're going to get in return. That's what we
So
do.
what would you say if I told you that that young man considers himself Christian?
Wow, would be like, whoa, because the term Christian literally means Christ,
Yes.
Christ follower. And if you know anything about Christ, Jesus,
Yeah.
you got to go back to the Bible. So in the Bible, he was the one that stood for the ostracized the most, for the
Yeah.
ostracized. For the women, women were considered objects, were considered minority of the minorities back in the day. And so Jesus was the one who would push women. He would bring them to the forefront. He allowed women to participate in his ministry. So Jesus, he spoke for the underclassmen, right? He spoke for those from a different race.
So according to this man, women have no business speaking in public.
Wow, that's interesting. And you say he's a Christian.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
So just remind me, because I don't know, maybe I got it twisted, but didn't Jesus allow women to preach?
Let me tell you.
Weren't some of the apostles women?
Let me tell you. Oh yeah. I can
In the
mention.
early church?
All right. I can think of 2 examples right off the top of my head. So when Jesus resurrected, because we as Christians, I understand if there's somebody watching who doesn't believe it. I respect your opinion, but I'm a Christian. We believe what the Bible says, right? So that's our point of reference. So in Scripture it says when Jesus resurrected on the 3rd day, the first people he revealed himself to was to women.
Yeah.
That in itself was a message that he was sending. Are women above men? No. Are men above women? No. But God bringing those who were minorities, who were ostracized, who weren't even considered people at the time, he's bringing them. He's sending us a message that says, hey, women are important to me. He had 12 disciples. Why didn't he show himself as 12 disciples?
Yeah.
First. So it was the women that brought the message to the men saying, hey, the master, he came to life. Come see what I've seen.
So,
right?
As Christians, you believe that Jesus and the early church actually gave women a public voice?
Of course. The Bible talks about the mother of Timothy. The mother of Timothy, she was amazing. She had money. She had that guap. And she would give Jesus' ministry all that money. And she would preach and she would heal the sick. So.
Well, isn't that special?
Isn't that special?
Isn't that special?
That's from Dana Carvey, right?
So, listen, folks, this is what I've been trying to tell you, Kim. This is what I've been trying to tell you all along about the reality of what it's like in these communities. This narrative of hatred between people, between Latinos and blacks, this is not true. That's not the reality here.
Nope.
What happened on Fordham Road here, yes, I mean, it's unfortunate that there were people who hijacked a righteous cause. And of course, yes, there are dysfunctional elements in the community, but this is not the whole community, and it certainly was not a race war. That's not what happened out here.
And we're out here. I can attest to this, just in case you're tired of hearing him say the same thing all over again. I can attest to this. I used to work here for 4 years straight, and that animosity they talk about, it's really not a thing. It's more the media. It's more people that are angry, fueling their anger, bringing, that fire to fan the flames of their anger and their rage. So.
Well, thank you very much.
You're
I really
very
appreciate your
welcome.
time.
I
Thank
would
you.
hug you if it wouldn't be social
Well.
distancing. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
So people, I'm here on Fordham Road and the Grand Concourse. And I know, the news, they said that things were really bad up here, but I gotta be honest with you, man, I really was not prepared. I really was not prepared for what I'm seeing around me, man. I mean, this is absolutely my mind is blown. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I can't believe that I don't see all of this death and destruction that the news is talking about. I can't believe that I'm looking around me and I see a vibrant, healthy community full of people going about their business. I see a community of people and stores, even though we're in this lockdown because of Corona. Look at how many people are out here. Businesses are still intact. People are still doing business. People are still out here shopping. Where is all this carnage that the news is talking about? They made it sound like it was fucking World War III. Like, they made it sound like this was World War III out here. Like, you know, I was expecting to see like burnt out buildings, dead bodies, all kinds of craziness, the way they inflated this thing on the news. I mean, yes, it's obvious that there was some looting that happened. It's obvious that there was some, destruction, some vandalism. But people, come on, man. This is not no race war happening over here. This narrative that the media is painting, and certain people on YouTube that are trying to paint, because they want to, further their little dysfunctional agenda. This is not true. I got on the train this morning all the way from Jersey City, and I just walked the entire length of the Grand Concourse. I came up from 170th Street. I showed you Burnside. I came all the way up. And here I am on Fordham Road. I spoke to people in the community, and basically they confirmed what I and so many other people have been saying. Basically what Radical Latino has been saying. All of this hoopla that people are trying to raise, that's garbage. These are all lies, people. You cannot sit here. Listen, do not sit here and get all caught up on YouTube and social media and think that garbage that you're seeing is reality. It's an illusion, okay? These people, they have their own agenda and they want to make up their own story. What the reality is something completely different. Some of y'all people need to get lives, you need to get hobbies, you need to get off of YouTube and start living in the real world. Where is all this hell and destruction that they've been talking about? Where is it? Where's all this racial tension? Where's all this racial violence? Where is it? This race war, supposedly, that's going on.